The 22nd Law Commission formed for Uniform Civil Code, chaired by former Karnataka High Court Chief Justice Rituraj Avasthi, has retired High Court Judge Justice K.T. Shankaran and Professor Anand Paliwal, Professor D.P. Verma, Professor Raka Arya and M. Karunanidhi as its members. The Law Commission has called for suggestions on the Uniform Civil Code from religious organizations and public on June 14 to be specific. As per the notice, within 1 month, the Indian citizens can submit their views by clicking a button. Views are either invited in the form of words or as an uploaded PDF or through an email or even by sending a physical copy to the Commission's office. July 14th is the last day to submit the views. This public call for views has been receiving criticism from various quarters even as the Commission is gearing up to draft the Uniform Civil Code based on these responses and of course after some meetings with various organizations. The Commission has received 46 lakh responses as on July 10th. You're watching 4 Sides with me Rajeshwari Kalyanam, and here's a special report on Uniform Civil Code and the 22nd Law Commission. The new commission has called for public opinion on UCC without offering any concrete proposal, outline or framework or even adequate time for the public to respond. We as a country of over 1.4 billion population has so far sent only 46 lakh responses, and of course a bunch of organizations decide on this important law, Uniform Civil Code. Women's rights groups studying the code say that sections of the society that will be impacted by the law if it is passed are not consulted over the issue. And then why is the government and this Justice Commission in a hurry to bring in the civil code without proper consultations? I say new because there was one law commission, as you all know, that was constituted for the purpose, the 21st Law Commission led by the Supreme Court Justice B.S. Chauhan, which in 2018 has called for opinions and said that the UCC is neither necessary nor desirable at this stage. The 21st Law Commission also called for opinions. They had met various organizations and the decision was made based on the responses. This new commission has been formed to relook at UCC and has called for views and suggestions yet again. And going by the public notice issued for the purpose on June 14, 2023, one cannot help but wonder if the public views are just a formality. The reason for this is the notice itself. It refers to the 21st Commission and also acknowledges the overwhelming response to the Commission's questionnaire that it asked the public to answer at the time. The new Commission says that since 3 years have lapsed since the old Commission's consultations and the paper that was issued on the reforms of family law, and I quote the 22nd Commission, bearing in mind the relevance and importance of the subject and also the various court orders on the subject, the 22nd Law Commission of India felt it necessary to deliberate afresh over the subject. This itself gives rise to a lot of doubts. You would as well remember that the noted lawyer and politician Kapil Sibal, in a recent interview, he refused to comment on UCC without knowing what it means, what it will have in the final draft. This is going to be a personal law uniform of the whole country. Assuming that the older commission's work is redundant, which was done 3 years ago, and that there could be a change in the public's opinion over these 3 years, despite this being a long-standing subject like UCC, without revealing a framework, without creating wider awareness on what bringing UCC would mean to men, women, various religions, people's rights, etc., asking people's opinion and placing their faith in a few group representatives who may or may not have the interest of the stakeholders in mind is a narrow approach to a law that impacts a wider population. Evidently, the Commission feels that the issue that has been under discussion for a long time, as long as the independence of India, will not need more than 30 days for the billions of population to respond and talk about and share their views. And definitely, it assumes that the Indian public in general would have a fair idea on this supremely complex issue like Uniform Civil Code. In contrast, if I go back to the 21st Law Commission, at least there was an easy to navigate kind of a questionnaire that was relatable, accessible and easy to answer. Although it was also criticized for targeting one religion. It is increasingly perceived that it is the one community that is being targeted using UCC, especially after the reports that Northeast may be exempted from the UCC. In a country like India with around 300 personal laws, our Prime Minister only refers to India as a country that cannot have two different laws, evidently referring to the one law that the party in power would like to be seen as targeted. However, if and when civil code is implemented uniformly, it affects every religion and ethnic group, including the Hindu religion. And in all this opinion seeking and multiple theories without a draft that one can refer to, there is no way one can agree or disagree. We have no idea what the government is thinking, what the government is proposing as uniform civil code. The Commission has called for public opinion on UCC without offering any concrete proposal, outline or framework or even time, as we mentioned before. And this brings us to the most important exclusion in the public notice, which is absence of the groups or group representatives that are impacted. A feminist group working on the Law Commission's submission on UCC has responded to this call for views and said that the Commission needs to make the sections of the society most impacted by any legal changes as part of the consultations, especially from the women within and outside the institution of marriage, marginalized and minority communities, queer and transgender persons, and people with special needs. However, Prime Minister has said that UCC is for women, especially Muslim women. It is repeatedly being said in speeches by top leaders of BJP, including the PM, how UCC will help women. But are women being consulted at all? What about the others who will be directly impacted? Whether an agency, religious or representing a community, whether it supports or opposes UCC, it must have taken into consideration women and other stakeholders. We do not know if they are even in the scheme of things. What is apparent in all this is the hurry with which these views are being sought after from agencies that hardly represent the impacted people, and from public, majority of whom have no idea what they are supporting or opposing. After all, there is no legitimacy or clarity in the information of UCC that is being disseminated or available online. Uniform Civil Code is not an easy proposition, definitely not as simple as government would like us to believe or want people to think, and it is definitely not just a Hindu-Muslim issue. Thank you for watching 4 Sides.